How's it going, everyone? Hope your week's been well. Hope you're having a good evening or day, whenever you're watching this video. It's been a while. We're going to take our time, go through a nice trade I caught today. And I do apologize if the sound quality is not as good as usual. I can no longer use both USB ports on my laptop, so I am choosing to use my wireless mouse and plug in the Bluetooth in for that over my uh, microphone here. So we're just going to have to use my AirPods. All right. Well, before we start the video, I just want to say go Gators. They were able to win the college men's basketball championship. If you follow my page, you know I am an enthusiastic Gator fan. So I was very proud to see them bring that national championship back to Gainesville last night. And now they are the only D1 school that has three national championships in football and men's basketball. So that is a great achievement, and it's a great honor to be a Gator fan. All right, let's get into today's trade. As some of y'all know that you follow my channel, I have switched from options trading to futures trading. I am currently working on getting a funded account. I would more than have a funded account by now if I was a more disciplined trader. And me and my mentor have been working on that, and I have made leaps and strides this year towards fixing those little psychological errors that us traders make to force us to overtrade, to over leverage, um, and blow accounts and not keep accounts. So with all that being said, hopefully I will be funded soon, be trading with a live account again, and have some more content for you. As many of you know, I still do work a day job, so I just can't make these videos every single day. I just don't have the time nor the energy, but I try to do the best I can. So let's get into today's trade. At 10:22, I stated that I actually thought the market was looking like it might be one of those days where it just runs all day, pulls back to the 21 EMA, and then runs again. Um, and I took a small loss prior to 10:22, trying to short the market on what I thought could have been a double top pattern. Not going to chart that, not going to go over that, but I had taken a couple $100 loss to start the morning. Well, then I spotted bearish divergence on the 5-minute chart, along with what could be a rising wedge pattern, which would be another short opportunity, another bearish chart pattern. But I stated that I wasn't sold on short. So I was kind of in between where I thought the market was actually going to go today. As many of you know, it really just depends on the news and or fake news that comes out regarding tariffs lately. All right. But then I give this, not just a few minutes later, 3 minutes later, I charted the pattern for the team, showed them what I was looking at, and I liked these pre-market support and resistance levels. These were going to be some price targets below the pattern's low if I held that long. And I told them I was scaling in with 1 micro, stop loss set at the pattern high. So I entered and then set my stop loss up here at these upper wicks, right? So taking a short position, looking to catch a move down back here to the pattern's low, or the start of the pattern. All right. Then at 10:54, I let them know that I was adding 2 more contracts. My max position size, as I'm trying to get a funded account, trying to stay very minimal, less is more in trading, and just have good discipline and consistent wins. So my max position size is 3 contracts, so I added 2 more to my position. I moved my stop loss from the pattern high now down to my entry level, and my stop loss was set at break even, and my take profit level was, again, as I stated, the pattern's low. Then at 11:01, I moved the stop loss into profit. So now no matter what happens, it's going to be a green trade. I can't take a loss at this point. My stop loss is in the green. And then I moved my take profit down to a little bit lower than the pattern's low. However, you'll see as the trade goes on, I decided my original take profit level was sufficient, and that's where I actually ended up getting out. The market did hit this level, I just didn't want to hold. I'd already been in the trade almost an hour and had made good gains that most people would count as acceptable. Any money made in the market is a good day, right? So want to see how much more we could come down, and I just kept moving my stop loss as the trade played out in my favor. And then at 11:14, we hit that pattern low. I signaled that I was all out. I had made back the money that I lost on the first trade, which was a couple $100, and then finished the day up 870. I made 1100 on that trade alone. Now let's, oh, wrong slide. One second. Here it is. All right, now we're going to take a look at the trade. So this is everything we just went over in those few slides. You had already seen this pattern when I charted it before, right? Here it is. Let's see if we break out. Well, this is how it played out. So we break out of this rising wedge. We close below EMAs here, start moving down. Okay. And I circled this area as my entry. It was somewhere between here and here. Anyhow, we start pushing down. Here's that pattern low that I wanted to see us attack. I want to see, this price action move down back to this pre-market support level. And that is where I did decide to get out. You could look at this several ways. We did go a little bit lower, but then we bounced, came back up here. I could have panic sold and got out here for way less than I was up when I was in here. And then we did reject the EMAs and continued to dump throughout the rest of the day. So you can critique your trade. You can say you should have held longer, but who knows if you would have held through this. You might have got out after these two large, green candles here. So that's where I say a green day is always a good day. You were able to be profitable, beat the market. That's a win in itself. All right, and some confluences we had to go along with the rising wedge and deciding to short the market is my three indicators that I've built a very good system with. When all three of these agree with one another and agree with the chart pattern, that is an A+ setup for me. And I'll pull up this one here, just so we can kind of see everything that's going on, right? All right, let's look at the confluence from the indicators now. MACD, the blue crosses down through the orange here. That is a sell signal MACD cross, especially when it happens in this upper zone. It's divided right here. This down here is the lower zone in the MACD. This is the upper zone above these volume bars here. So whenever it happens up here, that is a sell signal. Great indicator for a short entry. RSI, we have this top gray line, bottom gray line. We know down here the market's considered oversold on that specific time frame. Up here, the market is considered overbought. So we had overbought conditions along with bearish divergence. The RSI made lower highs right here, while our chart made higher highs. You can see by this yellow upper trend line. Higher highs at that point in time, lower highs from the RSI. So we have sell signal MACD cross, bearish divergence, overbought conditions. 3 reasons to go short. Rising wedge chart pattern, 4 reasons to go short. And buying momentum leaving the market here on the TTM squeeze with these dark blue bars and this rounding top. That's 5 reasons now to short the market. And then if you would have taken this entry, you could have said that, on this big red candle here, we have a strong bearish candlestick pattern closing below a short-term EMA, meaning that this trend is probably reversing to the downside. And then this next candle, another bearish candle with a long upper shadow, upper wick, rejecting off the EMA and then closing below the next EMA. So all of that, you could have had 6 or 7 total confluences and reasons to go short the market here. All right. So that is a rising wedge chart pattern on ES. You can see down here, bottom left-hand corner. This was ES, 5-minute chart. I don't know why I always chart it on the regular ES contracts. This was traded with micros. So hope that was helpful. Look for the rising wedge chart pattern, especially while we're in bearish conditions. Bearish chart patterns work better in bearish conditions, and bullish chart patterns work better in bullish conditions and bullish markets. So we'll see what tomorrow has in store. Hopefully another green day, and maybe I'll have another video to make for y'all. So see y'all on the next one.